What's up, beautiful people? It's Skuzzy here. I'm going to show you how to live stream your VR content to YouTube, and it's going to be a start to finish guide. It should be for beginners as well. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's talk about what you're going to need to get this done. I'm not showing you how to do wireless streaming. I'm going to be showing how to do wired streaming to your computer. Of course, we're going to need an Oculus Quest 2, a link cable of your choice. We'll get into that later. OBS Studio, that's what I'm going to be showing you how to use in this video. And there will be a few other things that are kind of extras, but they are nice to haves and make your life much easier. We're going to need to download OBS Studio first. Now, you may already have this downloaded, but if you don't, I'll have the link in the description. Obviously, we're on Windows, so make sure that you download OBS Studio and install it. After that, we're going to need to make sure that we have the Oculus Software for our PC. You may already have this, just in case you don't. We're going to do Oculus PC Software. When you Google Oculus Software, you'll want to click on this very first link, and it should automatically start the download for the Oculus setup. Make sure that you have Oculus software installed onto your computer, and once that's done, we can continue. Let's start with OBS Studio first. We'll get a few things set up. That way, we can move on to what it looks like streaming from your VR. You should have OBS looking very similar to this. However, I have my scenes already set up, of course, because I'm recording this right now. What we need to do is, obviously, we're going to need to create a new scene. So from the get-go, over here in scenes in the bottom left, you're going to want to click on the plus symbol, and you can name it whatever you'd like. Stream. In the new scene, you won't have any sources populated. I brought them over so that way in this recording, you can still see me filming myself. However, you're also going to add a new source, but for this one, you're just going to add a display capture. Hit OK. And then, of course, you'll choose your primary monitor that you're playing your games on. Here is a bonus tip. I recommend that if it's solely for streaming VR content, you actually uncheck Capture Cursor. And I'll show you why a little bit later in the video. Hit OK. Ignore the fact that I have my webcam, but yours should just have a display capture, and that should be good enough. Let's quickly go over all of the audio and video settings that you need in OBS. Go to File, Settings. We want to go into the Stream tab first. Super important. This tutorial is for streaming to YouTube, so you'll want to choose the service, of course, is going to be YouTube RTMPS. You can also choose any other platform you'd like from here. You don't need to change the server. It should be set to primary YouTube ingest server. And then you'll have an option right here to connect to your YouTube account. It'll ask you to sign in, so definitely do that. We'll move on to output. Well, we're focusing on streaming for right now, but I will also show the settings I use for recording, just in case any of you are wanting to just record your gameplay and not stream. But for streaming, I'm using an NVIDIA graphics card, so I will be using the NVIDIA NVENC H.264 encoder. Here are the important settings. Now, these will directly affect the quality of your stream. So it also depends on how good your internet connection is. I would recommend choosing the rate control option of CBR, which is constant bitrate. 6,000 is a great bitrate number for you to start with because it is a very good quality and it's not too straining on your internet. However, I would not push it past 8,000 or 10,000. If you don't have a very fast upload speed with your internet provider, I would stick with 6,000. It's good enough. I keep everything here pretty simple, so you can follow my settings. My preset is set to slow, good quality. The tuning is high quality. Multi-pass mode is 2 passes, full resolution, and psycho visual tuning is on. So that's my streaming tab. For those who want to record content, I record a lot of content. If you want to record high quality footage, that you have a large enough hard drive. I have a 6 terabyte hard drive in my computer, so I'm able to afford to have higher quality video clips for recording. Make sure you change your recording path to wherever you want to save your video clips. The recording format I recommend is the MP4 format. That's because a lot of video editors use that format. I choose the NVENC encoder, just like the streaming encoder. Scroll down to the most important part for the recording, and that's the encoder settings. I recommend using CQP. I don't know quite how it works, but I do know that it starts at level 20, and the lower the number you go, the higher the quality of the video. So I would recommend starting at 20 and go and record a gameplay clip and watch it back and see if you like the quality. 20 for me is not that great. It's pretty blurry. So I drop my number down to 15 and I get excellent quality footage. However, the lower the number that you go, the file sizes are very large, and sometimes they can even be difficult to deal with in editing software. So don't go any lower than about 14 or so, unless you have a very high-speed computer. You can copy all my settings here, the preset, the tuning, everything is pretty much the same as the streaming tab. And that's about all I do for recording. The audio we don't touch, replay buffer I don't mess with. Okay, audio, super important. I want you to ignore my mic and auxiliary audio for now. The only thing you should worry about is making sure your desktop audio says default, and we can just move on. In the video tab, this one really does affect both streaming and recording, so make sure that this video base canvas resolution is set to the resolution of your monitor. I always play in 2560 by 1440, so I want my output to match that because I personally do not want to downscale my video. So if you don't want to downscale your video either, make sure these two settings match, and then I record in 60 FPS. One piece of important information that you will need if you would like to stream VR content with a cable, so not wirelessly, you will need to ensure that your computer has a USB 3.1 hub. Not a USB 3.0, it has to be USB 3.1. If you don't know if you have that or not, typically these are color-coded. Blue is usually USB 3.0, red is usually USB 3.1. However, to really make sure you know which one you have, you would want to Google your motherboard's name and find out exactly how many of those you have, or if you have them at all. We need one more thing that's going to allow our stream to see what we see in VR. And this is the question that comes up a lot, is how that's done. Especially if you want people to be able to see down your iron sights, because that is another problem that people have. So the Oculus software by default is going to come with an app called Oculus Mirror. However, this piece of software is actually hidden deep inside the folders. So what you want to do is navigate to where Oculus is installed. So typically it'll be in your local disk program files. For me, I believe I installed it into my SSD. So it'll be inside your Oculus folder. We want to go into support and the diagnostic folder. Inside here, you're going to see an app called Oculus Mirror. To make it easy on yourself, I'd like you to right-click Oculus Mirror, show more options, send to desktop. Now that will create a shortcut on your desktop for Oculus Mirror, which makes it super easy. So that way, whenever you're ready to stream or show people what you can see in VR, you can just double click this and it'll load up what you can see. Okay, let's move on to the VR headset itself. You will need your cable. Pro tip, you do not need the official Meta cable. This is the cable I use. It's from Kiwi Design. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it directly from them. And it works with other devices, so it works with the Quest 2, the Quest 1, a Quest Pro, and Pico 4, and this works just fine. So I do highly recommend it if you want to save some money, 25 bucks, you should definitely look into it. So Plug the USB into the back of the PC. So now we need to grab our Quest 2, and we are not plugging it in yet. We're going to put this on top of our head first and obviously power it on if it's not powered on already. Yes, this is something you'll have to do every time. Now, you can go ahead and take your USB cable and plug it into the headset and put the headset back on. It's going to ask you if you would like to allow connected devices to access the files. You always want to hit allow. Be patient, wait a moment, because it is going to show up eventually. A question for enable Quest link, you want to hit enable. That is the step that we need to be able to connect our Quest to our computer. It's going to load into the typical Oculus Quest. At this point, when you see the white room, if you go back and look at your computer screen, you will notice that the Oculus app has opened. If it does not open, please do open the Oculus app. Keep the Oculus app open. I like to minimize it, but now you can double click on your Oculus Mirror app. Now, it may look black at first, that if you have your headset off, your eyeballs are not in the VR headset, it's gonna deactivate itself. No big deal. But I wanna show you how to maneuver this window here. So if you left click in this window once, you'll see a drop down. And actually, if you continue to click into it, and it'll hide and show this drop-down menu. Click on settings, and you're gonna see a bunch of options you can change. So you can make it full screen, which I'd recommend you do right now, and then go back to settings, and I'd like you to click on eye, and this setting allows you to change if you wanna look through your left eye or your right eye or both eyes. I recommend just choosing right eye. Obviously, this means that everybody's going to be able to see your iron sights when you pull your rifle up. What is important to remember is for you to click once so that way that bar goes away. Remember, we are showing our entire display. So if this bar, this file settings menu is showing, your entire stream's going to see it. Or if you're recording, your entire recording will show that. This is why I had you disable your cursor. So I'm going to go back into my OBS. I'm going to right click on properties for my display capture. I'm unchecking the box to capture my cursor. So now, as you can see, or can't see, you can't see that cursor anymore. And this is nice because if you leave the cursor on the screen, your stream and your recording are not going to see it. You don't have to worry about it. With this being full screen now, we can put the headset back on. It'll activate. And you should now be able to see me move my head in the space, and the screen is capturing all of it. So let's get into the last section here. So remember to click into the screen. You can hit settings, hit full screen, and I recommend minimizing your mirror. So I want to show you how to set up your audio one more time, and here is a caveat and an unfortunate thing about Oculus Quest 2 Link. Meta currently has a bug. If you are physically plugged in with a cable to your Quest, it disables the Oculus Quest 2 microphone, which is really unfortunate. At the time of recording this video, it's still not fixed. Now, that did force me to do something. That means that while you're playing connected to your computer, you can't speak to anybody in game, and you won't even be able to speak to your stream. I could use this microphone to speak to my stream, but that doesn't make any sense because I'm going to be in VR and I'm going to smack this microphone. That leaves you with only a few other options. You can look into getting a wireless microphone, and yes, they are expensive. I, however, did invest in a wireless microphone, and this is the one that I got. This is the Antlion Bluetooth wireless microphone. This thing is freaking amazing. I will put a link in the description. Not sponsored at all. Antlion, if you're watching this, hit me up, homie. You guys make some good stuff. I'd love some free stuff. I'm just kidding. No, seriously, this thing is amazing. The coolest part about this is it comes with little magnets. That's just a little magnet on the microphone itself. Okay, right there is a magnet with a 3M strip. This just clips into place like that. and I can get crystal clear microphone quality because let's be honest, the Quest 2 microphone's pretty bad, guys. Sorry. I'm sure you all know that. Anyways, with that being said, if you are going to use a wireless microphone, make sure that your stream can hear that microphone. Let's go back over to OBS. You're going to go to File, Settings, Audio. Again, we want to make sure that our desktop audio is default. You can even choose Auxiliary Audio 2 and choose the Antlion Wireless microphone or whatever wireless microphone that you have. You're going to put that there and hit OK. So there's another thing that we need to do to ensure that your stream can hear you. You're going to go over to your calendar, right-click the sound icon and click on Sound Settings, and this will bring up all of your outputs and inputs. So with output, you're going to choose the headphones for your Oculus virtual audio device. You will hear the sound that's going from your computer to your Quest 2, and then that means the stream will be able to hear your default audio. But you're going to want to make sure that your default input, which is your microphone, will be your wireless microphone if you're using one. You don't need to worry about this if you're not using a wireless microphone or another microphone in general. If you're not using a wireless microphone, you are going to use something else. Just choose whatever microphone that is. Then come back over to OBS, and you want to make sure that your desktop audio is not muted and that your microphone of choice is not muted. And a good test before you start streaming is you can click on your speaker icon and click on this volume dial. You can click anywhere. Notice how desktop audio is receiving that audio sound. I hope I didn't butcher all that, you guys. Let's move on to starting your stream or getting ready to start the stream. We're going to do all of this inside of OBS. So on the right-hand side here, you will see there is a Manage Broadcast and a Start Streaming button. We are going to hit Manage Broadcast. You can actually see my settings from my previous live stream. These settings might be a little bit different for Twitch, I'm not sure. But specifically for YouTube, this title, of course, will be the actual title of the video if somebody is looking through YouTube search engine. The description, also important. Maybe if you want to throw your Discord information in there, you want it to be public. Is the video made for kids? Typically, it's not going to be. And of course, a thumbnail. So you're actually able to create a thumbnail on your own. I highly recommend it. And I recommend not changing anything here for latency. I keep it as normal, and I don't mess with any of these boxes. These are just default. In order for your stream to now see everything you're doing, you will want to launch your game. And notice I don't have my headset on right now. That's fine. We're going to launch Ghost of Tabor. Here's where it gets a little tricky and a little confusing, so stay with me. Launch Ghost of Tabor in Steam VR mode. Go ahead and choose that option. A bunch of games are going to use Steam VR, and you want to just allow that to happen. But here's where it can get a little confusing. I know that the game is loaded. You should be able to see me looking around. There are going to be 2 VR views. So with this Tabor open, it has its own VR view. If you hit the Windows key, you'll notice that there's an Unreal Engine icon here. That is Ghost of Tabor running through Steam VR. But that view is not going to show your viewers down your right eyeball. As a matter of fact, the default Steam VR view is through, I believe, both eyes, or it's the left eye. And there really isn't an efficient way to change it. That's why we have the Oculus Mirror. So you're actually going to have to, after you open the game, you need to remember to quickly minimize and go back to Oculus Mirror, which is right here. And you'll want to settings full screen. Okay, now put your headset back on. It's hard to do, but I'm just going to show you. You should be able to see down this iron sight. Okay. And now your stream, or anybody watching, can see everything that you do properly. that should be everything for now. Please let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, or maybe you have some tricky spots that you didn't understand. I'm not the best at explaining things, so I tried my best. You can join my community Discord if you guys have any questions. I hope all this helped you guys, and I hope you also enjoy live streaming your VR content. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.